Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Silvia Putriyani with NPM 2140100166. Here, I will explain about business negotiation and meetings. So, here we go. Business meetings or negotiation itself can take place easily or with high voltage, may be able to easily negotiate or deal with special problem or a whole fail to agree. To do this well, one need to assimilate basics of communication, be able to read verbal and non-verbal communication sign, expressions, to have the creative system for preparation to interview and negotiation, to be able to provide and receive information, to substantiate their position, to respond to comment and naturalism, to understand, to resist the manipulation and know how appropriately to complete the negotiation. Next, we have a sub-discussion we will discuss together. 1 is the submaterial system of communication. 2 is the error of preparation in a bargaining process. 3 is the emotional aspect of the bargaining. 4. Nonverbal communication in the bargaining process. And the last one is verbal communication in the bargaining process. So we will move to the first one, is the submaterial business negotiation and business meeting in the system of communication. In this respect, the effectiveness of negotiation depends on how the parties understand each other, what information is available about each other and produced in the bargaining process, how they are able to understand each other's motive, how they are able to submit proposal, argument, and to convince the other side. In turn, business negotiation and business meetings are interaction of personalities. This interaction may take place in corporation or in the fight. In addition, the words which we say to our negotiator do not always mean the same things which mean for us. Probably, sometimes we experience that in important meeting, everything is valuable, like word, gesture, physical expression, environment, clothing, and posture. Totality of all these things, effectively controlled, can create a successful or maybe unsuccessfully our image. Connection of knowledge of the sciences enable better to open possibilities of communication and language, option to reveal much more than sometimes we hear that observe the environment. Communication in general, and is the communication of bargaining process, must be mutual. During negotiation, everyone is trying to influence opponent's mind to convince him that certain changes will help to achieve that overall objective and mutually beneficial agreement. So we will move to the other one, is the error of perception in a bargaining process. The main errors of perception in the process of bargaining are divided into: first is part of information is omitted. 2 is for some details is given too much weight. 3 incorrectly is interpreted relationship between perceived element. And last but not least, incorrect assumption about people are made based on the earlier experience and false assumption that some of the traits must be always connected into the other. So to avoid the error of perception in the bargaining process, you must be flexible, be able to change the opinion about the person after learning something new, need to constantly to check the information received and compare it with what we see, with the existing new, focusing on the controversial issues, many of which are in the process of communication. Need to know how to postpone a discussion, must spend time to gather additional information that will help to create a more objective opinion, not to give up the impression of the first basic and finished effect, trying to empathize, to look at the situation through the eyes of another person to understand his position. So for the next, we will talk about the emotional aspect of the bargaining. The emotional aspects of communication cannot be forgotten for any minute in business negotiation and business meetings. There are two responses to other person and his problems. First is cognitive, like information and thinking, and then emotional. Emotional support is called empathy. Empathy is another person's emotional state and experience what other people are feeling. If someone have empathy, of course, we have the opposite of empathy. It will be self-centeredness. Self-centeredness can be dangerous in negotiating. So, if we shall try to achieve our goals only, of course, they must never be forgotten. Like, why then we are negotiating? And if it can be noticed by the other side of the negotiation, so the result of negotiation can't be achieved. Move to the other submaterial, we will talk about nonverbal communication in the bargaining process. Nonverbal signs of different nations are different. Nonverbal communication is nonverbal or body language. It is the forms of body's communication, expressed in unconscious and conscious gestures and postures. Nonverbal language help in these cases when the words do not provide sufficient effect. The gesture can be sole acting signal, which cannot be transferred in a word. Sometimes body language can speak louder than word. Silent signal can speak louder than word. And also, research has found that most of the information is transmitted in nonverbal signal. And last but not least, there is verbal communication in the bargaining process. Verbal communication is interaction, informational behavior by using symbol of speech between two or more people for expression of ideas. Verbal communication takes part when negotiation is going with the help of spoken and written language symbols. In theory, a business conversation is, or at least should be, a set of deliberately chosen words with the help of which one or more interlocutors want to influence the other participants of their group, having the aim to replace the current situation or relationship, that is to create a new situation and relationship. Verbal communication is the main component of business communication and an important part of the business itself. Like the higher promotion we would like to achieve in an organization and a higher score we desire to achieve, the more we must know about communicating. Maybe that's all I can explain. Hopefully it can be useful for those who watch it. I'm Silvia Putriyani. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.